With Breath of the Wild being the biggest Zelda game ever, you can certainly expect to find an abundance of secrets and hidden details tucked away within the world. In this video, we have searched high and low to find the top 10. This is the top 10 secrets in Breath of the Wild. At number 10, why don't we start off simple? When playing or watching this game, you may not hear the traditional overworld themes. You may only hear the sounds of nature. But if you listen carefully enough, you can hear music. At the Tower of Resurrection during the cutscene, Zelda's lullaby is present in the background while a voice is talking to Link. It's the same story at the Temple of Time. The classic theme is definitely audible, but these two themes have something in common, and it's really quite depressing. They are slow and broken, in ruin if you will, just like the world around them, adding to the post-apocalyptic theme of the game. The music in Breath of the Wild may well tell its own story. A bleak story that we, as Zelda fans, are not ready for. The story of Ganon's rise to power and tyrannical rule over the land. For number 9, remember when Mr. Ayanuma said he wanted to see what fans loved about the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim? I can almost guarantee no one was thinking about the fully translatable dragon language. Well, just like in Skyrim, in Breath of the Wild, Hylian is readable. Thanks to a fan, we can decipher Hylian text primarily found on Sheikah inventions. For example, on the tomb Link wakes up in, it reads Care Unit. And on many other things, it just tells you what they are. On the Tower of Resurrection, the words say Sheik Tower. There are also Hylian letters on the shrine doors that read Dungeon, as if it couldn't get more obvious. Thanks, game. But by far the best thing in the shrines, the blue stone that upgrades the Sheikah tablet says, Now loading, as well as All your base are, a reference to the 1989 video game Zero Wing. Other than stating the complete obvious and holding Easter eggs, the text could also hold hints, talk about secret areas, or even tell about the story aspects. Maybe this could indicate the return of the Gossip Stone, which could give you very vague hints in your chosen language, and much more meaningful ones in Hylian for you to decipher. They say the best place to hide something is in plain sight. And for this number 8 spot, that's exactly what Nintendo did. If you take a good gander over at Death Mountain, you will see something quite daunting. There appears a giant guardian patrolling the volcano. Given how hard a normal guardian is to defeat, this one might be quite a pain. Expect quite a harsh thrashing over and over if you go unprepared. This boss is best stayed away from, for a while at least. At number 7, in the 2014 Game Awards footage, Link had the sailcloth from Skyward Sword. The internet went crazy, speculating about all kinds of wild theories. The most popular being, Link is a charter discovering Hyrule. The general thought was that it was a direct sequel to Skyward Sword. With the removal of the sailcloth, the theory has been shut down. The cloth has now been replaced with a paraglider. The sailcloth could still be in the game though, as an unlockable item or upgrade. In the E3 demo of Breath of the Wild, it was confirmed that all towns and NPCs were removed to avoid spoilers. All but the old man, a few Koroks and 4 monks. Taking 6th place, if you look carefully you can see yet another. In the Beyond the Plateau gameplay when Link is paragliding, a lizard-like creature is visible. This could also be a new enemy type, but from what has been shown, the minor enemies always work in packs. The being may even be a Lizalfos, but again, they usually don't work alone. But given the geographical location, it would make a lot of sense, as lizards can be found in deserts as well as prairies, forests and rocky areas, all of which are abundantly present in the game. Be this friend or foe, only time will tell. At number 5, Ocarina of Time is a game we all know and love. Castle Town was a bustling and prosperous place. As Child Link anyway. The fate of the town was far worse than what Ganondorf did after his rise to power in Ocarina. What appears to be its ruins are within close proximity of the Temple of Time. Even the fountain is right in the middle of the ruins. And to top it all off, there's a path that passes under a destroyed archway. On the other side of said archway is a hill to the left, with even more ruins on it. This is known as East Abbey, and would line up perfectly with the map of Castle Town and the ruins. But the icing on the cake is, if you look down beyond the plateau, you will see a derelict stone brick road. It leads towards the stone walls of the plateau. At number 4 are shrines. There are over 100 of them in Breath of the Wild. The chic monks who created them have interesting names. The first shrine you will possibly find is called the Shrine of Omanau. It is clearly an anagram for the name Ayanuma. Ayanuma, of course, is the head developer of this game. There may be more, like Owa Daim and Kiwi Numat. The other monks' names might not mean anything though. But we have only seen 6 out of 100. More secrets could easily be hidden. What's the difference between changing the conventions of Zelda and breaking the lore? In third, it's a fine line. Finding hearts, rupees and items in grass is definitely a convention. In Breath of the Wild, the grass will no longer bear such riches, unfortunately, as Nintendo must have forgotten about the Quarry. Those little creatures from the Minish Cap, the ones who were responsible for hiding things in the grass, under rocks and in pots. The lack of goodies in the grass must indicate a lack of Quarry. And with them gone, something really terrible must have happened to Hyrule. When Nintendo showcased Breath of the Wild gameplay at E3 this year, we were all blown away. And then it happened. The thing that caused many theorists to lose it, and taking second place on this list is Koroks. The majority of the people believed that this game would be set in the adult timeline, but there was conflicting evidence. However, the Koroks found in Breath of the Wild looked almost identical to those found in the Wind Waker, adding to the theory. It would be next to impossible for the Koroks to have evolved and become those exact characters in the other timelines. Now before we go on to the number 1 spot, we would like to share some honorable mentions. These are just things that didn't make it onto the list, but are definitely noteworthy. The first honorable mention is the Mesa Canyon Link is standing on in the Beyond the Plateau gameplay. Or Utah, as Bill calls it. He isn't wearing his traditional long ponytail. Instead it appears to be in a bun-like fashion. It seems to play into the gender-neutral Link Mr. Ayanuma was talking about. Could we be getting both masculine and feminine customization options? The second mention is Koroks, given evidence for Breath of the Wild being set during the adult timeline. I know, we already covered them in this video. However, with the help of the amiibo, you can summon Wolf Link. Now this is truly lore-breaking, no matter what timeline this game is in. If it's set during the child timeline, the introduction of Wolf Link still doesn't make sense, as this is also Link. We probably shouldn't try to make sense of it. After all, it's just a game made for the sole purpose of entertainment. The third and final honorable mention, a giant skeleton that can be seen atop of the cliff 16 seconds into the E3 2016 trailer for Breath of the Wild. It could be just a huge Stelphos boss, or it could be something else. This skeletal being could be the remains of a deceased Goron. This game does seem to have new types of Stelphos like the Stel Bokoblins. A Stel Goron wouldn't be that far-fetched. But something that is more far-fetched, but still possible, this skeleton is none other than Captain Kita from Majora's Mask, paving the possibility that the map is more than just Hyrule, which would make sense given the sheer size of it, although this is probably wishful thinking. In the semi-final scene in Breath of the Wild 2016's trailer, but final secret on this list placing in at number 1 is the white flowers that are present around the Master Sword. Just like in A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds. The flowers are then seen again in the final scene. They lay around the deactivated Guardian, and one sprouts on the Z of the logo. Now before you go and start believing that this is the Downfall timeline, there were white flowers in the Wind Waker, which in fact resemble the flowers found in A Link to the Past far closer than in Breath of the Wild. Thank you all for watching. Tell us if you found anything different in the comments, we would love to know. Please consider subscribing to all the wonderful people featured in this video, and the writer of this script. Links are in the description below.